Yakshamash. What's up, guys? You're going to want to grab a cocktail and take a seat with me while I adjust my lighting, and we're going to dive right in. And let's start with America. I think many of you have heard the term too big to fail, correct? America is the antithesis of too big to fail. For example, the IMF has 5 world reserve currencies, identifying as one: the yen, the yuan, the euro, the pound, and the dollar, due to failed US policies. Finance doesn't give a fuck about feelings, and it's on the IMF website. Don't come for me. And those who have the death threats do nothing. Okay, mean words on the internet don't hurt. And because I'm not taking my ADHD medicine, we're going to be jumping topic to topic. So grab a pen and paper, and you might have to push replay. Back to central bank digital currencies. Japan finished phase 2. It wants its citizens to have a say. South Africa, phase 2 complete. India is rolling out a central bank digital currency. 80% of the world is rolling out a central bank digital currency. WeChat has 10-cent wallet for the digital China yuan, particularly curated for the digital yuan. And America has thoughts, feelings, and nothing. Nada. We do have people in Congress writing bills for the central bank digital currency that doesn't even exist. However, okay, deep breaths. As an emerging manager, right now, what I'm witnessing, watching modern day Mao lock down his people, creating a supply chain crisis, and the existential threat of what is going on in Shanghai for political reasons, including rebuilding the China real estate market back with the digital yuan. He has masterminded the ability for the yuan to have already surpassed the US dollar in relation to Forex markets and data. And meanwhile, Americans are going from Steve Jobs to no jobs. This time, 2 years ago, we lost 6 million, or had 6 million people file first time jobless claims. This week, we had a mere 185,000. Why are we purging so many jobs so quickly? I am appalled Jerome Powell still has a job. If he were doing what anyone else did and were held to any type of employment standard, he would have been fired, at least if he worked for me, because I don't know what the man's doing. I really haven't, since even he was in office and lowered rates for the first time in 2019. And I always said again, and I'm going to repeat this, dunk the rates like donuts, drive up debt, and then hike them like an Elon Musk rocket, create massive defaults and a wealth transfer. He's gone a bit beyond. So, for example, the housing market, valuation, mortgage-backed securities, the Federal Reserve owns treasuries, mortgage-backed securities. They have to get rid of them. Who's going to be buying mortgage-backed securities when mortgage rates have gone above 5%, or they're at 5%, the 30-year fixed? And in the crisis of 08, which I was blackout drunk, don't remember, of course, because I was too young, about 6%. So I don't know about yourself, but to me that signifies prepare for a housing crisis. Hypothetically, allegedly. Not financial advice. We're friends talking as friends. I'm essentially venting to you all like my therapist. As a contrarian, I love nothing more than a solid swan dive. I look forward to sector collapses. Excuse me, not collapses, crashes, swan dives. Not a correction, stock valuation adjustments with massive sales. Super fun. However, seeing the tech sector along with Bitcoin be so delineated with the tech sector, I'm so bored. Many of you have asked me what happened to digital asset management. Oh, nothing has happened. I've been very gracious that, as someone who's been in equity since I was 7 years old, thinking I owned Disney when I just owned a brick in Disney as a visualization to begin teaching me about stocks, because, yeah, well, what can I say? My parents did a couple of things right. Nonetheless, I just believe right now triangular arbitrage with large amounts of money is going to be very fun with the foreign exchange markets and the ability to cross-trade exchange for profit with the ability to go from decentralized to centralized fiat currency, and then potentially the ability to get into the central back digital currency space. I don't know what we'll call that at that point in time, but I think if I were hypothetically not under an NDA, I would expound. Let's keep going. Microeconomics. Where is going to be a good place to put money, invest, feel safe, even though financing can fuck about feelings, but just to have some growth, some real economic growth. Valuation not based on social media. In fact, C-section, drop your link below if you're a developer, an engineer, or just someone that wants to be heard, seen, and shares like-minded views, because I have founded the Antisocial Media Valuation Contrarian Club. Merch coming soon. But on that note, let's go back to the Middle East, MENA. Many people I talk to don't know what the Abraham Accords are. During Donald Trump's administration, and I guess I have to offer a trigger warning because some people just by that name alone are sent off to shrieking to safe spaces, which just, okay. But the United States of America, Israel under Netanyahu, the current leader, Naftali Bennett, and the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi's leader, Sheikh Zayed, and I know I mispronounce names, so don't come for me, I apologize. Bahrain's leader got together and signed the Abraham Accords, recognizing Israel's autonomy, sovereignty, and vice versa. And we're doing business together. We're thriving. Israel, United Arab Emirates, we are peanut butter and jelly at this point. So to project, I look forward to seeing what SoftBank does. Masa is an extraordinary investor from Japan. I would argue probably one of the most intellectually codifying, fascinating men to watch. And the SoftBank Vision Fund has a mere 100 billion. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia's Vision Fund, with what they've bought in the Sinai and the development that's going on, along with his ability to run Aramco, is going to, which used to be the oil mecca, essentially, no pun intended. There's always KSA, USA, Aramco, woohoo! And then the 2014 de-dollarization project happened, and then OPEC Plus happened, and the United States just kept getting behind, and now we're behind. Yikes. Nonetheless, I look forward to the Middle East economy. Fintech, financial tech, digitalization, whether it be robotics, automation. Here comes my ADHD, automation. I call some of these mega woke funds BS on your electric vehicle initiatives, and here's why. Unless I've missed something, and I'm sure I have, I am an imperfect human being, aside living in a world with nothing but perfect human beings that seem to all be fields of expertise or experts of fields. I don't even know how to word it properly on Twitter. So living in a world with such extraordinary people who seem to be an expert at everything, being that I'm not, did we find a way to move hydrogen efficiently, effectively? Tell me. Because if not, then I'm not sure how everyone's going to be able to power their vehicles. And also, I hate to say this, spoiler alert, and this, again, might hurt your feelings. You guys, anything made is going to require fossil fuels to make it. I know it might sound insane, but it does. With that said, commodities should go up. I agree with Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, really brilliant man, was part of negotiating or coming up with 2008 TARP, Troubled Asset Relief Program. Super cool guy. He went very nuanced recently and in rhetoric. And he didn't use the word recession because he is very good with his words. He knows how to not trigger people. But I think JP Morgan's 42% decline might have woken him up, being that he did project the economy to be positive. But then again, if I were the CEO of a mega bank, the last thing I'd be telling people to do is run for the hills. Now, what do you all think is going to happen when rates go up, housing prices go down, because we have a flood of inventory, because people can't afford to live? Do not be fooled by Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve at this point. Jerome Powell, a few months ago, talked about transitory and told Americans so confidently about transitory. That word was stuck in my head. I was having nightmares about transitory. And inflation's here to stay. And now we have a CPI and PPI at the highest. I want to say 8.5 consumer price index and 11.5 PPI. We have Iran, going back to the Persian Gulf, a bit confused, yet I don't know how to articulate myself with this one, so bear with me, because I would never say Persians are confused. They are one of the smartest, most intelligent, loving group of human beings I've ever met. However, Iran said they're going to make a central bank digital currency and then compared it to a stable coin, to Tether particularly, and to USDC. So I don't know if they're trying to say we're going to make a decentralized currency, or if they don't understand that a stable coin is not the same thing as you guys tracking with me? Blockchain technologies here, a central bank digital currencies here. And Tether, I know, could probably be argued, because they just burn and are not mining, could be argued that it's more of a CBDC, but USDC, I would argue, has some integrity. And so, based on the technology. So, many of you ask about why I don't talk about Bitcoin, because what's there to talk about? You can just go to Twitter now. I mean, if you ask me, as someone who's been in this space since 2016, of course, off the top of my head, I'm just thinking Dash, Monero, Cardano, ADA, XLM, Stellar, Ripple, just the basics. Dash Coin, Privacy Coin, Zcash. Oh yeah, Mexico put in legislation for a central bank digital currency as well. But just off the top of my head, I see the tickers in my head, MKR. And I look now on something such as CoinMarketCap and think, oh my gosh, this is too much. Because it is. When you have 8,000 coins, something's not going to go well. So I look forward to a collapse, to purging through these shit coins and being able to really take advantage, not just sales, but coins that might have value. And I'm not have the ticker stuck in my head. Damn it, I'm thinking, okay, Chainlink is really good. And other things like, no, it's okay. Pivx, we'll just keep going. And so, leading me to China, you all wake up, look up. Instead of worrying about Palm Springs, I'd be worrying about the purchase power of your United States dollar. Because not only are you paying more and getting less, we're done. I don't see how we're going to be able to bounce back from what, $30 trillion of debt? That is the largest amount of debt in human civilization and history. In fact, we are centered a lot like, I'm so frustrated, I don't even know what to say, the Roman Empire. But when the Roman Empire was collapsing, from debasing the currency to being in pointless wars, and looking at all the minerals of Afghanistan, bit bummed personally we pulled out. Just gave China another edge in the competition for the commodities markets, but commodities should do quite well. I still want to know, and no one's been able to answer, why China knew to stockpile wheat by December of 2021. I want to know why you all believe that Shanghai in China has such a pervasive, insidious lockdown policy put on their people. And I also want to know why Disney edited some movie, I forgot what. I don't watch cinema. I only watch documentaries, and I'm a voracious reader. But they did. They edited a movie, something about Dumbledore maybe. They took out a kiss. And so Disney has me super confused too, because Disney in America was saying a bunch of things about homosexuality, and they then edited a film to go to China and took out the homosexuality scene. So I have questions. That doesn't make sense to me. That is very hypocritical. And I just have to ask Americans, how dumb are we at this point? Seriously, how dumb are we? Are we so hyper obsessed with being correct we don't want to be intellectually honest? I think the education system is of course, as we know, the student debt obligations are being sold on the market. But again, the education system has failed. When you teach kids the answers either A, B, C, or D, it leaves no room for analytical and critical thinking at all. And I need a drink. I don't know about you all because this is an intense stream and we've jumped all over the place. But anybody see any type of recovery? I would urge you all to go read. There's a wonderful piece on Market Watch from the person who helped come up with the too big to fail ideology from Credit Suisse or Credit Suisse. J'adore la langue de français, so I always want to say sweet just because je suis allée. But I would recommend everyone read it. Rates going up, inflation, stagflation. America is acting as a photoshopped version of Venezuela that's also catfishing the rest of the world and is being unmasked. It's like the wonderful Wizard of Oz, and we've been behind the curtain the whole time. I don't know what to say, but we're failing. You need to make shit to make shit. We have people partying like it's 1929. At what time in our culture did we ever come up with this notion? Memeing about losing money is funny. I'm lost. Can someone help me out there? Seriously. When did we become so hyper focused on shit that's not? We are the most, as a millennial, let me say this, we are the most documented and probably least successful, least productive generation that has ever existed. You will see history books showing meals of millennials, and people are going to be going, and what did they do? And the answer is absolutely nothing, because they went from freedom to free stuff and Steve Jobs to no jobs, and they handed their economy along with everything in it to China without even blinking an eye, because they were too busy looking down at their fucking phones. Hence, honey, while you're having to till the land because the purchase power of your dollar is not worth shit. I hate that's the direction of America. I do believe India and Israel will probably become emerging markets. I look forward to seeing the Middle East thrive. But Mana Asalam Lil Kill. There's nothing I've wanted more than peace in the East. And then also Morocco is part of the Abraham Accords now. So King Mohammed, très bien. Ramadan Kareem, by the way, to many of you that are in Ramadan. Happy Passover, happy Easter. And under Père Fils and Descendants, prie pour moi and for America. I do believe the globe is going to feel this recession we're headed towards, because the Federal Reserve is going to kick rates 0.5 basis points in May and 0.5 in June, more than likely. I don't see why they wouldn't. And meanwhile, Russia doesn't need the dollar. They've upped their yuan, being able to bypass pretty much everything, and they're chilling. The de-dollarization project from 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. Okay, that's 8 years that we allowed what God gave us as Americans to be taken. We have given our wealth and our abilities to control it. And I'm going to end with this. For the people who send me death threats for being a Jew, stop blaming Klaus Schwab for your problems. If you want to be as creative as him, guess what? You can. You have that ability to write books. He's a wonderful writer. It was a great idea to come up with the World Economic Forum. You can be just like him. It's called capitalism. Take advantage of it before we lose it. Because I am terrified. I'm absolutely frightened that I might wake up one day and not have the ability to reach out or opportunities to use my imagination or my creativity due to lack of capitalism imposed potentially by a foreign regime. But stop blaming Klaus Schwab for your problems. Stop death threatening me. Or you know what? You can continue to death threat me. Mean words on the internet don't hurt. Real life hurts. Lupus, trauma, you name it. Boom. That hurts. And watching America and just go to shit hurts as well. It's unfun. It's not fun. I feel very alone and sad. I also, on the flip side, feel super excited for sales coming soon and the ability to triangular arbitrage and be in the space between equities and digital assets and in the foreign exchange markets. A lot of fun. However, it's not going to be fun. And finance should always be fun, but it's not going to be fun to watch the ramifications of people who have not prepared. So from friend to friend, prepare. If you like gold and you think gold is what is going to keep you through it because it's God's money and in the history of civilization has never been worthless, then go for it. If you think silver, I want to say King Solomon crashed the silver market, is the way to go. If you think Bitcoin's the way to do whatever you need to do, commodities, land, food, pay your debt down, off, get rid of it. You will thank me later. So, Anna habak shatim te amo. Bisu besu bachi. I love you all. I mean it. I really do. I really do love you all. It's why I'm so passionate on these, because I hope you all will share this. Not, share, like, subscribe, or don't, but don't blame Jews for your problems. Don't death threat me. I keep getting all these messages about being in the Jew world order. Let me just say this. At the end of the day, I would love nothing more to think that modern day Mao of China doesn't have a chance compared to Larry Fink, Steve Cohen, Mr. Schwartzman of Blackstone, and brilliant-minded Jewish men, David Solomon, Hank Paulson, Alan Greenspan. I thank God these men are still alive. I thank God that these men are in control of these massive funds, because these funds will affect your pensions, your IRAs. I thank God these brilliant-minded men who just so happen to be of Jewish lineage are thriving, because the thought of them not is absolutely terrifying as well. So I love you all. Stay safe. God bless.